Hello everyone, this is Rig. Welcome to another episode of the Vedic Age, and today we are going to discuss about Vedic Religion and Gods. Now this is going to be a long presentation because here we are going to discuss about what kind of religious belief existed in the Vedic culture and who were the major gods whom they worshipped. So without doing any delay, let's get into details. As an introduction to Rigvedic religion, we will have to understand that their belief reflected religious aristocracy and they had diverse form of belief in many gods. The Rigvedic culture did not dedicate their belief to a certain god or to a certain type of gods. Their beliefs were very much diverse. And these ideas were similar to Iranian Avesta, which and also the Rigvedic culture mentions non-offering tribes like Dasas and Dasyus. So in Rigvedic culture we find existence of non-offering tribes, which means that they did not believe on the Rigvedic gods and did not perform sacrifices, and these tribes were called Dasa or Dasayus. In our last video we have discussed in detail about them. The Vedic hymns divide the universe into sky, earth, and middle realm. So, sky, earth, and middle realm were the three types of realms that used to exist in the Rigvedic culture. The Devas were shining or luminous ones frequently mentioned in sacrifices. So Devas or deities are considered to be shining or luminous, and they have been frequently mentioned in different kind of sacrifices that used to happen in Rigvedic culture. Initially Asuras referred to powerful beings, later exclusively denoting demons. So initially Asuras were considered to be powerful beings who were in the context of power as much powerful as the Devas, but later they were denoted as demons only. Rituals and sacrifices. What kind of rituals used to exist in the early Vedic culture? Deities worshipped through prayers and rituals which were called as yajnas. So the deities in Rig Veda were worshipped through prayers, and in a prayer you needed to offer something to the deities in order to appease them and gain certain favor, and that ritual was called yajnas. Yajnas involved offerings of milk, ghee, and grain into fire performed by priests or householders. So there are different types of sacrificial rituals performed by the Rigvedic people, but some of those rituals required specialized priests who were dedicated for the purpose, who used to perform the ritual, and sometimes in smaller sacrificial rituals the householders used to do it themselves. Sacrificial priests like Hotri, Adhvaryu, and Udgatri have specific roles in the ritual. So Hotri, Udgatri, these are specific types of priests who used to perform sacrificial rituals. Sacrifices aimed for wealth, good health, long life, and sons. So there were different motives behind performing a sacrifice, and some of them are wealth, good health, a very long and fit life, and also sacrifices were done for the birth of sons into a family. Deities paid dakshinas for their services during the rituals. So dakshina was paid, and that dakshina was paid to the priest. Hotri, Udgatri, all these priests used to take the dakshina on behalf of the deities for performing the rituals. Now, Vedic Pantheon and the concept of God. This is very important because the Vedic Pantheon has 33 gods who are associated with sky, earth, and intermediate region, but no fixed deity number or order is present in the Rig Veda. You might have heard a common term that there are 33 crore gods in Hinduism, but it's not true, because here 33 devas are present in Rig Veda who are commonly called as 33 koti devtas. Means here koti does not translate to crore, it translates to types. So there are 33 types of god present in the Rigvedic pantheon. Henotheism and Cathenotheism worship of one god without denying the existence of others. So henotheism or Cathenotheism means that people had belief in one certain god, but they also respected the existence of the other gods in their pantheon. So here they did not deny the fact that other gods did not exist, and the god in which I believe in are the supreme god. So there was no such concept. People used to respect the presence and power of all the 33 gods, whereas they used to dedicate their beliefs in only one or two of them. The deities like gandharvas are there, who are celestial beings. Apsaras are there, who are nymphs, and asuras are there, who are called demons in Rigvedic culture. No temples or worship images of deities, in contrast to later Hinduism. So in Rigvedic culture we find almost no temples surviving today, and also we don't find any images of certain gods, but their look, their appearance have been described in Rigvedic text, and from that description we try to make out an image of the Rigvedic deities. Naturalistic polytheism, gods personify natural phenomena like fire, sun and dawn. So all the natural phenomena in the nature have been depicted in the form of gods. We will go through the important gods in Rig Veda one by one. Before that, we will have to understand that the 33 devas, who were the 33 devas? Now there were 12 adityas, 11 rudras, 8 vasus, which means deities of material elements, and 2 ashwins. So all these 4 categories of gods make up in total 33 devas, who are popularly called as 33 koti, and that has been mistranslated into 33 crore devtas. It's not 33 crore, it's 33 type of gods. Now Dyaus. Dyaus is the first and foremost god we will discuss, and he is called as Pita, which means a father figure in the pantheon, embodiment of the sky, part of the primal pair with Prithvi. So Dyaus and Prithvi are pairs, where Prithvi means earth and Dyaus means sky. Universal parents, they are called universal parents, together referred to as Daiva Prithvi in the Rig Veda. So Dyaus and Prithvi have been mentioned together, and together in Rig Veda they are termed as Daiva Prithvi, Dayava Prithvi. Or the personification symbolizes the sky, considered a father figure akin to Greek Zeus. So just like Zeus in the Greek pantheon, Dyaus is also a father figure who personifies the sky. Fewer hymns are dedicated to Dyaus, indicating a less central role in later Vedic period. So as we move forward in the Vedic period, we find decrease in the number of hymns which are dedicated to Dyaus. The Rig Veda Mandala specific hymns are dedicated to Dyaus, though not numerically prevalent. So lot of hymns are not dedicated to Dyaus, and in most of the times he has been mentioned together with Prithvi as universal parents. Next up we have the important god Varuna. Varuna is considered to be an universal monarch with a golden abode. So he was the supreme monarch, and monarch means the king-like figure in the pantheon, and he was the supreme king of the universe and had a golden abode. In cosmic order, he is the upholder of Rta, the cosmic order with self-assigned laws. So Varun looked after the morality and ethical principles in the universe, which we will discuss later what is Rta. Asura category, originally part of the Asura classification, indicating his ancient prominence. So the The Varuna, the god Varuna, is a part of the Asura classification, which indicates that he has an ancient prominence. Acclaimed in the Rig Veda as the most exalted poetry, Mandala 6 is significant. So Mandala 6 is entirely dedicated to Varuna, where he is acclaimed as the most exalted poetry. Golden eyes, spies of Varuna, are thousand-eyed agents who are maintaining the moral order throughout the universe. So he was the upholder of ethics and morality, considered to be the king of the universe. Next up we have Mitra. Mitra and Varuna are almost taken as together, but still Mitra represents the moral order associated with Dhrata Vrata, firm in holding laws. So Mitra is an embodiment of friendship, known as the benevolent deity promoting friendships and alliances. So Mitra means friendship. The term Mitra also means friend, a good friend. So this god promotes friendships and alliances. He is a solar deity often linked with Varuna. Both gods are keepers of Rta. So Rta means moral principles and ethics in the universe. So Mitra and Varuna together are the upholders of Rta. Not many hymns are dedicated to Mitra singularly, however, his presence is felt across several mandalas. So, across several mandalas, Mitra has been seen to be present along with Varuna, and they together uphold the moral principles of the universe. Mitra is associated with daylight sun, indicative of his illuminating power. So, daylight sun is associated with Mitra, which means that which personifies the fact of illumination. Surya and Savitri. So Surya and Savitri are paired together. They are all seeing solar deity central to Vedic rituals and cosmology. So these, as from the term Surya itself, we can understand that it is a solar deity and they are central to all Vedic rituals and cosmology. Savitri is the golden deity responsible for stimulation of Gayatri mantra. So Gayatri mantra in Rig Veda is a very significant and sacred hymn which is in Mandala 3 of Rig Veda, and that has been dedicated to Savitri. Both the deities embody different aspects of sun's journey. So both the deities are attributed different aspects of the journey of sun. In iconography, it is described with golden limbs, arms, hands and tongues. So how did Surya or Savitri look like? They had golden limbs, arms, hands and tongues. The Gayatri mantra is attributed to Savitri and is still invoked by millions. So Gayatri mantra is one of the most sacred hymns in the Vedic culture, and still it is invoked by millions. Pushan. Pushan is the guardian deity of roads and herds, depicted with a goat-drawn chariot. So Pushan is depicted with a goat-drawn chariot, as you can see in the image on the left, and he is the protector of roads and herds. Associated with Surya through marriage with his daughter. So Pushan's the Surya's daughter has been married to Pushan. So this is the marital connection of Pushan with Surya. Ensures the safety of travelers and retrieval of lost items. So by the worship of Pushan, people ensure the safety and protection of the travelers, and also he was invoked to retrieve some lost items. He is described as a bearded god with specific physical attributes. So there is presence of beard in facial expression of Pushan. Pushan is celebrated in various hymns, though specific mandala numbers are not mentioned. So Pushan has been celebrated in various hymns of Rigveda, but it is difficult to establish a number, the number of hymns which are dedicated solely to Pushan. Next up we have Vishnu. Now Vishnu was initially a minor deity in Rig Veda who has been recognized more in the later text. In Rig Veda, Vishnu is not as powerful as we consider him to be in modern context. So in Rig Veda he can be considered to be a minor deity who gained importance in the later Vedic traditions. Famous for 3 steps symbolizing the sun's position. So in cosmic strides, Vishnu is very significant for the 3 steps which symbolizes the sun's position, and Rig Veda Mandala 1 has hymns dedicated to Vishnu. This god Vishnu grows to be one of the most significant deities in Hinduism. In later Vedic text and later part of Hindu traditions, we find the growing importance of Vishnu, associated with light and maintenance of the universe. In later Vedic texts, Vishnu is termed as the protector, but in Rig Veda he is associated with light and has been entrusted with the duty of maintenance of the universe. Represents the expansive and pervasive nature of the divine. So Vishnu is a personification of the expansive nature of the universe, ever growing. Now adityas. There are 12 adityas, and many of the gods which we will discuss in this presentation are also adityas. They are sons of Aditi, embodying various aspects of sovereignty and cosmic principles. So adityas are group of gods who are 12 in number, and they are sons of Aditi who are projecting various aspects of sovereignty and principles of cosmology. The mother is Aditi, represents the concept of limitless freedom and bondage. So from the Adityas we can learn the concept of limitless freedom and bondage. Mitra, Aryaman, Bhaga, Varuna, Daksha, Amsha are mentioned in Rig Veda Mandala 2. So these are the famous Adityas, many of whom we have already discussed or we will discuss. Each Aditya signifies a specific aspect of natural and moral law. So each Aditya, like Mitra describes the moral law of friendship and alliances. Varuna describes the power of water. So all these things are a natural power personified as a god. So each Aditya signifies a specific aspect of natural and moral law, mentioned in Mandala 2, representing their significance in the Rigvedic Pantheon. So all the Adityas and their purposes, their personifications have been mentioned in Mandala 2 of Rigveda, which signifies that they were one of the most important part of the Rigvedic Pantheon. Now Usha. Usha is the goddess of dawn who have been frequently invoked in the Rigvedic culture. So this is one of the most important female deity in the Rigvedic culture who have been frequently invoked. Described as youthful and dynamic, akin to a dancer. So Usha is the goddess of dawn who is very youthful and dynamic. Represents the victory of light over darkness and new beginnings. So just like dawn, where light strikes the earth's surface in the morning, before the morning, the first light, when it strikes the earth's surface, we get the presence of dawn. Similarly, this represents victory of light over darkness and also projects to the new beginnings in one's life. celebrated in numerous hymns for her beauty and vitality. So this is a very beautiful goddess who has been celebrated in numerous hymns of Rig Veda. Mentioned 300 times with 20 hymns specifically addressed to her. So in Rig Veda, goddess Usha has been mentioned 300 times and 20 hymns are solely attributed to her only, who is the goddess of dawn. Ashwins. Now Ashwins are the twin goddess known as Ashwins or Nasatya and Dasra. Nashatya and Dasra are the two Ashwin princes who are associated with healing and medicine. So they are like the divine healers in Vedic Pantheon. They are always found in pairs. Over 50 hymns are dedicated to them, indicative of their importance. So these divine healers have 50 hymns solely dedicated to them in Rig Veda. This represents the vital essence, Rasa, and are providers of light associated with dawn. So just like the divine healers, they are the bringers of light associated with goddess Usha, that is the presence of dawn. Depicted with a golden chariot closely tied to honey and healing. So the healing properties of the Ashwins have been depicted with their presence in a golden chariot, and they have been related with honey and healing. Their narratives and praises span across several mandalas, with notable mentions in Rig Veda Mandala number 1 for their divine functions and attributes. So people used to worship the Ashwin's princess for their healing and medicinal powers. Now Indra. Indra is one of the most important god in the Rigvedic Pantheon, and it has 250 hymns dedicated to him in the Rig Veda Mandala 2. So Indra's prominence is very much significant in Rig Vedic Pantheon. Known for his physical strength, bravery and heroic feats in battles. So Indra is considered to be a war god who has great physical strength and is very brave. Different legends and myths are associated with Indra also, and this represents the warrior aspect of divinity, often depicted through wielding a thunderbolt, Vajra, which in later Vedic texts the thunderbolt has been called as Vajra, which is the primary weapon of Indra. And in the Rigvedic Pantheon, we find Indra as a warrior god who is very brave and known for his physical strength. Accompanied by maruts, symbolizes the victorious aspect of nature and divinity. So this god Indra is accompanied always by maruts who control the weather. We will discuss about maruts later, but for now we can know that he has been accompanied with gods who could control weather and symbolizes the victorious aspect of nature and divinity. Even today, Indra's narratives are revered for their profundity and insight into Vedic society. So even today, Indra is worshipped as a very significant and sacred god who is very brave and proficient in war, and this provides us with the profound insight into Vedic society. Now Rudra. Rudra is the most powerful god in the Rigvedic culture, and he is depicted as fierce and benevolent deity, a healer and a hunter. So this is one of the angry avatars of god present in the Rigvedic culture, and often Rudra is depicted as very fierce, benevolent deity. He is also an expert healer and a hunter. Known from hymns in Rigveda Mandala 2 as a father of maruts and healer of diseases. So Rudra is the father of Marut who could control weather, and also Rudra is a divine healer of any kind of diseases. often shown with a bow and arrow and a quiver depicted as the roaring god. Roaring god, the name itself projects the fierce nature of the deity. Over time, Rudra's image have evolved, and later on in the later Vedic text, Rudra has been modified and associated with Shiva. The Satarudriya hymn is composed to appease Rudra, emphasizing his role in Vedic ritual. So, to appease the god Rudra, and to get appeasement of his fierce nature, the Satarudriya hymn has been composed. So this Rudra is not to be confused with the later Vedic god Shiva, who is also a destroyer. Now Rudra can be told to be an early manifestation of Shiva in the Rig Vedic culture. The maruts. Now maruts are described as youthful and radiant, and they are the sons of Rudra and Prishni. So maruts are the dynamic god who are described as youthful and radiant. There is not one single marut, but there are many maruts. Now what can they do? Characterized by their brilliance, armed with lightning and thunder as weapons. So these gods are said to be very intelligent in nature, and they are armed with lightning, thunder as their weapons. So that is why they always accompany Indra, whose primary weapon is a vajra or a thunderbolt. Embodiments of natural forces, especially storms and warfare. So maruts are embodiments or personifications of natural forces like storms and warfare. Celebrated in hymns Rigveda Mandala 5, illustrating their collective power and vigorous nature. So Rigveda Mandala 5 has been Mandala 5 has hymns which are dedicated to the god Maruts, and that reflects their collective power and vigorous nature. In culture, they are very much significant in Rigvedic culture because they are regarded as protectors of natural world and warriors, indicative of a collective action in Vedic times. So this is the presence of maruts in the Rigvedic pantheon are indicative of collective action in the Rigvedic culture. Next up we have Vayu and Vrata. Vayu represents the wind linked to breath and life force in the Vedic cosmos. So without Vayu, no life can survive on the entire world. Therefore, Vayu is linked to breath and wind, which is the life force in the cosmos. Described as a deity that moves swiftly, dispersing clouds and purifying the atmosphere. So with wind the atmosphere gets purified. So this natural phenomenon has been personified in the god Vayu. Invoked several times in Rig Veda Mandala 4 for his life-giving properties and his role in the sacrifice. So just like without oxygen nothing can survive, that fact has been personified in the Rig Veda in the form of god Vayu for his life-giving properties and his role in sacrifice. Symbolizes the concept of divine order and law, which Vayu is closely associated with. So apart from the power of a life force, he also symbolizes the concept of divine order and law. Vayu is often depicted in conjunction with other gods such as Indra, highlighting the interconnectedness of Vedic deities. So no one god is supreme. Every god has connections between them, just like Vayu is depicted in conjunction with other gods like Indra. Agni. Agni is the second most important god in the Rigvedic pantheon after Indra, and Agni is addressed to Rig Veda Mandala 2 as the central Vedic god, the fire deity, and the mouth through which offerings are made to other gods. So Agni acts as a messenger during the sacrificial rituals. He acts as a mouth through which offerings are made to other gods. Known for his three dwellings, Tripasya, symbolizing three household fires. So in the Vedic culture, there were three household fires, and thus Agni is known for his threefold nature, which is popularly termed as Tripasya. Acts as a mediator between gods and men, carrying oblations. So this act as a medium of connection between the gods and the men, because it is through Agni that we have a connection through all the other gods in the Vedic pantheon. Appears as fire on earth, lightning in the sky, and sun in the heavens. So Agni has presence as fire in earth, lightning in the sky, and as sun in the heavens. So thus Agni is the central Vedic god. Even though Agni is not considered to be the supreme god, but many hymns in Rig Veda have been dedicated solely to Agni, and thus he is termed as the central Rigvedic god. Described as the son of Dyaus and Prithvi, integral to Vedic ritual process. So no ritual is complete without the presence of Agni. Hence, he is one of the most important god in the Rigvedic pantheon. Brihaspati. Now Brihaspati is the master of force, or Brahmanaspati, the lord of prayers, generates all prayers and invocation. So he is the constructor of prayers. He generates all the prayers through which we establish a divine connection with all gods in the Rigvedic pantheon. Functions as a domestic priest, distinguished from Agni, often involved in myths of battle and wisdom. So this god is highly knowledgeable, and thus he functions as a domestic priest who is distinguished from Agni, and he has a significant role to play in the myths where wisdom is required. Plays a significant role in the myth of rescue of cows by Indra. So there is a story about cows being rescued by Indra, and there Brihaspati plays one of the most significant role, and that story has been mentioned in Mandala 4 of Rigveda. Sometimes identified with Agni for his connection with the spoken word and sacrificial hymns. So just like Agni acts as a mediator between men and gods, similarly Brihaspati also has a connection with the spoken word. Therefore he is identified sometimes with Agni. Represents the power of spoken sacred word in Vedic ritual. So Brihaspati god represents the power of the shlokas or the mantras that is written in the Rig Veda, and that is very sacred in the Vedic culture. Even still today in the modern context also, those hymns are very sacred, and he is the generator of prayers. Next up we have Soma. Soma is associated with ritualistic plant Soma, symbolizing immortality. So Soma symbolizes immortality and is associated with the ritualistic plant. The entire Mandala 9 of Rigveda is dedicated to Soma, detailing the preparation of Soma juice. So Soma is a sacred ritualistic drink in the Rigvedic culture, about which we have discussed in our second video. Now this Soma preparation recipe has been given in Mandala 9 of Rigveda, and entire Mandala 9 is dedicated to this purpose only. Described as a wise seer, a poet, and a stimulator of thought and inspiration. So Soma has a very significant role to play in the creativeness of Rigvedic culture, because he is a seer who can see the future, a poet who can compose rhythmic hymns, and a stimulator of thought and inspiration. The effects of Soma on Indra are praised repeatedly in the hymns. So Soma seems to have influenced Indra numerous times, and that quality has been praised repeatedly in the Rigvedic text. Soma is closely related to the moon and the waters, playing a key role in the balance of cosmos. So Soma plays a key role in balancing the cosmos because he is closely associated with moon and water, showing the presence of tidal effect in the Rigvedic culture. Prithvi. Now, Prithvi is the mother goddess who is also the earth goddess of the earth, and often in conjunction with Dyaus. So, Dyaus is the father god and Prithvi is the mother goddess. They are often mentioned together in Rigvedic Pantheon. Rarely addressed alone, usually paired with Dyaus, signifying the unity of sky and earth. So the god of sky is Dyaus and the goddess of earth is Prithvi. So they are repeatedly addressed together, signifying the importance of pair in sky and earth. Represents the nourishing aspect of earth, providing for all beings. So Prithvi nourishes all the life forms, and that has been personified in the form of goddess Prithvi. Seen as a motherly figure fostering life and providing stability. So Prithvi is the motherly figure who nurtures and fosters life and gives stability to the planet. Invoked for blessings on physical realm and for agricultural prosperity. So Prithvi bestows blessings on the physical realm and also sees to the agricultural prosperity of the people. Ribhus. Now, who are ribhus? Ribhus are revered for their craftsmanship, particularly in chariot making. So, chariot was one of the most important means of communication in the Vedic culture, and such an important object of communication has been personified by worshipping the ribhus, who are revered for their craftsmanship. They possess the magic to shape and change their forms, demonstrating mastery over creation. So ribhus have mastery over any kind of creative technologies, and that has been personified in the fact that the gods ribhus are capable of transforming their shapes and magics. Despite their human origin, they were accepted among gods, indicating the Vedic value of skill. So, unlike all the other divine originated pantheons, the ribhus have human origin, but because of their skill, they have been placed on par to the gods. Mentioned in Rig Veda, they symbolize the ingenuity and creative impulse in the Vedic society. So, the creative impulse of the Vedic society are projected by their respect towards the group of gods called ribhus. Illustrate the bridge between mortal and divine through skill and ingenuity. So we know how much the Rigvedic culture valued skill and ingenuity. Thus, the ribhus are accepted on par with gods even though they have a human origin. Now, female divinities. We have discussed many female goddesses already, but still here let's go into details. Vedic literature presents a range of female divinities from river goddesses to concepts like Vak and Shri, where Vak means word and Shri means beauty. So, beauty is, or aestheticism is often associated with the female divinities. The goddess of dawn, often associated with vitality and beginning of things. So Usha, we know, is the goddess of dawn, who is associated with victory of light over darkness and also beginning of good things. Goddess of fertility is there in the Vedic culture, such as Prithvi and other deities like Ila and Bharati, invoking the nurturing aspects of nature. So the goddess of fertility like Prithvi, Ila and Bharati invokes the nurturing aspect of the nature. Invoked with Saraswati and associated with inspiration and creativity. So we find mention of goddess Saraswati also in Mandala 2 of Rig Veda, and she has been associated with inspiration and creativity. The presence of the female goddesses in Rig Veda represents various facets of life, from wisdom to fertility, and play vital roles in the spiritual and material realms of the Rig Vedic Pantheon. So female divinities in Rig Veda are as important as the male divinities. The male divinities projects to the materialistic personifications of nature, whereas female divinities project to the nurturing aspect of nature, and one is incomplete without the other. Apri gods. Now, group of deities, 10 hymns are dedicated in Rig Veda are addressed to Apri gods associated with sacrificial rites. So, 10 hymns of Rig Veda are dedicated to Apri gods who are associated with the sacrificial rituals involved in the invocation process, ensuring the correct execution of rituals. So there were numerous protocols while performing a sacrificial ritual, and the Apri gods used to see that it all went well. They serve as a link between physical sacrificial components and invoked deities. So just like Agni, they also serve as a connection between the physical components and the sacred divine powers. Apri gods are collectively praised for their roles in protecting the sacrificial order. So sacrificial rituals were the most important part in Rigvedic culture, and they were the overseers so that everything went on well. Evil spirits. Now without divine figures, there are also presence of evil spirits in Rig Veda. Just like there is light, and where there is light, there is also darkness. Similarly, where there is divine spirit, there are also evil spirits. Referred to as Yatu, Dhru and others, representing the antithetical forces to the Vedic order. So they are the negative forces in the Vedic order, and Yatu, Dhru are the malevolent beings, which are the evil spirits in Rig Veda. These spirits are known to obstruct or pollute rituals, challenging the sanctity of the sacrificial practices. So they were the agents of pollution in the sacrificial practices. Described as having no faith in the Vedic god and rejecting the sacrificial offerings. So these evil spirits do not have any faith in the Vedic god, and they are the negative forces who reject all kind of sacrificial offerings. They represent the forces of chaos and ignorance in opposition to the moral and cosmic order. So on the other hand, you have positive forces like moral and cosmic order, whereas on the other hand you have evil spirits who are the agent of chaos and ignorance. They serve as antagonists in the Vedic myths, often defeated by deities like Indra to restore harmony. So they are the negative forces in the cosmology of Rigvedic culture, where they have been depicted as agent of chaos and pollution who deserves the sacrificial offerings. Apsaras and Gandharvas. These are celestial beings. They are not deities, but they are celestial beings who have divine power, and so they are considered to be semi-divine creatures associated with water, music, and dance. So Apsaras and Gandharvas are celestial beings who are considered to be semi-divine creatures and are associated with water, music, and dance. Apsaras are often depicted as divine dancers and Gandharvas as celestial musicians. So Apsaras are very beautiful dancers in the pantheon, and they are associated with celestial musicians who are the Gandharvas. They are prevalent in Vedic and later Vedic Hindu myths, enchanting heroes and gods alike. So, heroes and gods in many myths of the Vedic and later Vedic culture were seen to have been enchanted by the presence of Apsaras and Gandharvas. Known for their beauty and supernatural powers, including the ability to change shape. So they were very beautiful and they had supernatural shape shifting powers. They symbolize the aesthetic and pleasurable aspect of the divine realm, often participating in important cosmic events. So they are the personification of aesthetic and pleasurable aspects of nature. Now, mythological figures and hymns. Rig Veda contains fleeting allusions to mythological figures and semi-divine beings. So there are different mythological characters in Rig Veda who are considered to be semi-divine beings, and number of hymns are attributed to them. Dialogue hymns like the one between Puruvas and Urvashi provide mythological narratives. So on the left hand side you can see a painting by Raja Ravi Burma who personified the dialogues between Puruvas and Urvashi, which provide a very important mythological narrative from Rig Veda. Hymns refer to Varuna and Mitra as guardians of Rta and cosmic order. So they were the guardians of morality and discipline in the universe. Yama, the first mortal and king of the dead, appears in hymns discussing the moral order. So Yama is the king of the dead and the first mortal who has number of presence in the Rigvedic cosmology. Hymns elaborate relationship between gods and humans and semi-divine beings. So these mythological figures have their presence in Rig Veda in the form of different hymns and mythological narratives, which provide an insight into the culture of Vedic Pantheon and that of the Vedic society. Rta, the cosmic and moral order. So what is Rta? Rta in Rig Veda corresponds to the ancient Iranian Asha, meaning universal order. This means a discipline, morality and ethics in the universe. Sacrifices and human conduct are aligned with Rta, meaning maintaining cosmic balance. So when there is order in the universe, there will be balance, and that has been personified by the concept of Rta. Varuna and Mitra are guardians of Rta, ensured the moral and natural laws are upheld. So Varuna and Mitra are the guardians of cosmic and moral order in the Rigvedic pantheon. The hymn of Yami and Yama discusses the importance of adhering to Rta in moral dilemmas. So hymn of Yami and Yama discusses the importance of cosmic and moral order. Rta influences the relationship between deities and moral actions of humans. So this is an early form of karma theory where one's work influences the relationship between deities and the moral order of one's character. Funerary practices and beliefs. What kind of funerary practices were there in the Rigvedic culture? Rigveda refers to both cremation and burial. Even though cremation is the most common Rigvedic practice of funeral, but still we find presence of burial also. Belief in the vital force Ashu and spirit Manas surviving death. So there is a belief in afterlife where the spirit survives after death also. References to a heavenly paradise and a terrible hell. So there are references to heavenly paradise and also a hell where you will go depending on the life you have led. The afterlife concepts are more elaborated in the later Vedic text. So in the later Vedic text, we find elaboration of the concept of afterlife. In Rig Veda, we find minimum references to afterlife in the form of Ashu and Manas only. Funerary practices are reflected as a complex understanding of life, death, and afterlife. So, funerary practices is a personification of a complex factor of life, death, and afterlife. So, overview of Rigvedic religion. We will go through the important points we have discussed in this presentation. The Vedic Pantheon. Rig Veda presents a complex array of deities, each embodying natural phenomena and moral principles, with gods like Indra and Agni at the forefront. So Indra and Agni are the two most important gods in the Rigvedic pantheon, who represent a complex array of deities, each embodying a natural phenomena. The worship of Rig Veda reflects a unique form of polytheism, which with each hymn dedicated to a certain god while acknowledging the existence of others. So the Rig Vedic culture acknowledged the existence of many gods while dedicating a hymn to a single god only. Yajnas are central to Vedic religion, with elaborate rituals involving offerings to the fire god Agni, who acted as intermediary between humans and the divine. Rta, the cosmic order, is a recurring theme, with gods like Varuna ensuring its maintenance, and the Vedic literature emphasizes the roles of deities in upholding this order. So a lot of attention has been paid to maintaining the moral and ethical order of the universe. Goddesses such as Ushas and Prithvi play a crucial roles, while goddesses like Rudra and Vishnu display complex characters ranging from fierce to benevolent. Many Vedic gods are associated with celestial bodies like Sun and Soma, meaning moon and the sun, personify forces of nature, war, prosperity, and creation. The Rigvedic religion laid the groundwork for later Hinduism, transitioning from the worship of naturalistic deities to more abstract and philosophical conceptions. The hymns of Rig Veda are not only religious texts but also a rich source of mythology and cultural narratives, providing insight into the ancient Indo-Aryan society. So that was all about Rigvedic religion and gods. This was a very long presentation, and in this presentation you have seen details about the Vedic pantheon and religion rituals in the Rigvedic culture. Hope you liked it. Please go through the other videos, and as usual support me so that I can bring brighter contents in future. Thank you so much.